Have you ever seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
You talking him or me?
Either one of you.
Absolutely.
I have. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scene in there, and I always have to watch myself because it's always my first response when people say stuff like, I got to figure out where I'm going to put this or where should I put this or something, because he's like, hey, Griswold, we're going to put a tree that big. And he's like, bend over and I'll show you. And he's like, you got a lot of nerve talking to me that way.
I wasn't
talking to you. And they both look confused because it's just him and his wife.
He doesn't say anything.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
and she's like she's looking at him like, are you not going to defend my honor?
That's such a classic movie.
It is such a good movie.
Every Christmas I watch it.
Oh my God. There's so many good lines in there.
There's a lot of really good lines in it. The movie's got a lot of really funny scenes, but I'm still not a huge fan of Chevy Chase.
I mean,
And the characters he plays, they're all sleazy. And I don't love it.
I don't know.
It wasn't really sleazy.
I wouldn't think he's sleazy.
Because the girl
What did he do that
brawl.
was sleazy?
Every time I see him, I mean, he's very married, and he's very much like fawning and following around like all these model girls and like getting in the pool with them late at night when his wife's like waiting for him in his hotel room, or like shopping lingerie, and he's like ogling the girl at the counter, which it's funny because of when the movie was made. My dad was watching it, and the girl's like showing the underwear, and like he was like, yeah, it goes real high so you can't see it, and she lifts her skirt up and shows like the whole side leg. I'm like, you couldn't do that nowadays. You could not do that nowadays.
What are you talking about? That's all Instagram is.
In a store, dude, in a store.
You wouldn't do that back then in the store.
I know, but what I'm saying is you'd put that in a movie. You probably would. I don't think they'd put that in a movie like that nowadays because they wouldn't imply that people would do that in a store. I don't think they would, but maybe I'm not seeing the right movies.
It's an interesting take. It's on Christmas Vacation.
I'm not a
It's being seen through a whole different lens that I have not watched
I'm
the
not
movie.
a Chevy Chase fan.
That's okay. You don't have to be. That's
But
fine.
the movie itself is funny. I can appreciate, but I don't love the other one.
I love that.
Where they put the granny on the roof.
That's so good.
See, what I love
It's just National Lampoon's Christmas
Is
or
it-
Vacation or
it's Chevy Chase is giving it the creep vibe, not Uncle Eddie.
yeah, right.
He's trying.
All right. Uncle Eddie's giving no creep vibe, but
No,
Chevy
not
Chase
at all.
does.
Chevy Chase gives me creep vibe, yeah.
Uncle Eddie didn't. That dude actually is literally a crazy person in real life.
I guess I've never followed
Randy
up with
Quaid,
him
yeah.
after that movie. I guess I don't know any. What else has he done after those movies?
He actually did a Christmas Vacation too.
There was a second one?
Yeah,
Oh,
and he's
he had
in
no
it, and
clue.
it's not any good.
Isn't it like in Vegas or something? Or
No, there was a Vegas Vacation that he was in, but there's actually a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation too, and he's the star of it.
oh no, I haven't seen.
Yeah,
that.
it's not good. It's horrible.
No, is
It's
it?
so bad. I mean, he's Eddie to another level.
I can tell you the reason. There's like one primary reason why I really don't like National Lampoon's Family Vacation, and y'all are gonna roll your eyes so far back in your head.
Drag the dog.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't like it because of that, and like they don't
You don't
show it.
actually see it.
I know, but the fact that they would imply that in the movie, I'm like, I was so because I saw when I was younger, and I was like, I was so mad, and I've carried that anger all the way into my 30s.
They're not.
It's not rational.
She thought Grandma being tied to the roof was funny, but the dog.
Yeah.
Dude, you
dragged
got to get
behind
your
a car.
priority. You talk about how creepy. That's creepy, dude. Human life is more important than animal life. I'm sorry. Bottom line.
Agree to
fact.
disagree.
Well,
Agree to disagree.
so all the single guys out there, let you know she owns several cats and several dogs.
One dog.
If it was between you
I
or
own one
her
dog.
or them,
Yeah, you can. You're a grown man. Take care of yourself.
yep, that's what a man's looking for in a woman. That's the kind of love and affection he's wanting from his woman.
You're third.
Not even third; it would be like seventh.
Well, I meant like in species. Dog, cats, then person, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what. How do you order those? Do you order those, or they like?
Or
dogs,
is it
cats
just
equal?
individual?
It's animal. Just no. There's
Just
no,
animal.
Animal.
All species
People.
of animals are one.
Animal.
species.
The animal,
Oh, just
then
animal
people.
is all, okay.
Just animal.
Animal.
So you're a snake is above you.
Yeah.
She's more concerned about the snake than you.
Okay, so like, what's the context of the situation? Is it like I'm saving a snake out of the road, and like you're getting eaten by you're wrestling a bear? Like, what's the situation?
Okay, the situation is your Mr. X, your boyfriend,
Okay.
needs to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Life or death.
Yeah.
And so do your cats, but it's different directions. Time is
Of the essence.
Where do you go?
The fact that you have to even
what's
think
happening
about
to
it
my cat?
is psychotic.
What's
Life or
happening to my
death.
cat?
Life or death. Both of them are life or death situations. Do you have the Jeopardy music on that sound box?
I think we have some kind of music.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anyway,
We got to go past, guys. I'm
guys,
not making myself out to be a
I
good
want to welcome
character.
you back to another edition of Running with James. So my name is James Wyatt, Coach James, and contrary to popular opinion, I'm the normal one. I'm straight lace, footloose, never fancy free, and I have a deep concern for all people. Carlos, also known as affectionately as Coach Carlos.
Yes, that's right. With respect.
With respect. You put some respect on his name.
Yes.
Also is very fond of the human kind and nature, the human condition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all going through it together.
We're going through it together. We are in it
Yeah.
together,
Human
right?
condition.
And then we have Coach Lauren as well. So we've already established what her cares are, and that the rest of you can just go to hell.
I never
Basically what I
said
heard.
that.
So
Screw you all.
I'm a little confused this week. Last week, in my backpack, I brought some adrenaline for Lauren
Yeah.
to make sure she was awake.
For this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think we
needed
might
it.
need sedative.
I know.
She's on so much coffee.
This shit came in yelling. Like, why are you yelling? What the heck, dude? I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. It's like, okay, dude. I don't like donuts. I don't like cake donuts.
Very, very. I've never heard of such a stance taken
I
like
know,
that. That was
man.
like, oh, all right. Note, never bring.
I've picked a fight with Matt on cake donuts last night. We were talking about
Wow.
that. Matt, our client.
Oh.
We talked about that in the runs. I got heated during the run about
Oh, that
donuts
dude
as well.
he told me the other day he had 6 donuts pre-workout.
That's exactly what he told me. He's like, I had 3 to 6. I was like, 3 to 6? I mean, is it 3 or 6? He's like, it's somewhere in there. We'll say 3. I was like, no, it's probably closer to 6.
I'm serious. That guy, he's literally he's my original client. Like, he's like one of my first clients that I had. And actually, he was dating a girl that I was friends with, and she was like, hey, can you work me and my boyfriend out? They had just started dating. And like he had these goals
that's how you met him?
he wanted to hit and all these things he wanted to do. And from that day on, I've been training him anywhere from once to 3 times a week. And like
And how many years ago was that?
consistently 8.
8 years ago? Yeah.
Wow.
Nutrition has been like the thing we repeat over.
Oh, he tells me
Every
week on the run, we talk about like, he's like, I had like a Dr. Pepper and a half. And I'm like, do you have Dr. Pepper every day? He's like, usually. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
a lot of soda, man.
Yeah. He's gone through like these things too, where like he'll lose 20 pounds, then he'll like gain 20 pounds, and then he'll lose 30 pounds, and then he'll gain 20 pounds, and so it's just like, I mean, right now he's been doing really well for the last couple years. He's been looking fit, getting stronger. He's been doing more stuff or whatever, but still he'll come in. He's like, dude, I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm so gassed. I'm so exhausted. And I was like, well, what did you eat today? Well, I carb-loaded before I came. I had 6 donuts before I came. I was like, okay, did you have anything else today? Yeah, man. I had like 4 tacos at lunch with avocado and steak. Okay, what did you have for breakfast? Coffee? Is that it? Yeah, man. I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I was like, what time did you go to bed last night? Well,
Yeah, he goes to bed late.
I was playing some video game or something or whatever till 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, well, what time did you get up this morning? Well, I had to be at the office by 8, and his office is in the Woodlands, and he's like in the Galleria,
Oh, wow.
right? I'm like, why are you asking me dumb questions? You don't know why you're tired. You know what? We've had this conversation at least 100 times, minimum, at least 100 times, and it feels like we're having it for the first time every week. I just don't. And he's just kind of got this half like ashamed but smiled look on his face. I don't even know how he does it, but he looks like he's ashamed, but then he's also like, kind of like, this annoys you, doesn't it, James?
I've seen it. I've been around when you've trained him a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and usually the only thing I always hear, why are you resting? That's what I always hear. That I'm always laughing if I'm training someone. I just always hear.
Well, he knows how it is. We got a round, right? It's like some sort of circuit or something going on, right? And like, all right, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. So here's the purpose of the workout. So I don't want you to stop. We're trying to go, right? We're trying to do some conditioning, right?
Yeah.
He does one movement for 3 reps. He's supposed to do like 15 reps or something, right? And he stops and he's like, what are you doing, dude? I just got to catch my breath. I was like, okay, fine. Catch your breath. 5 minutes later, he's still catching his breath.
I'll hear that throughout the hour. If I'm there, I'll just, why are you resting?
Yeah. Dude, a while ago, I would create workouts and we would get through half of the workout because he'd be breaking all the. I was like, why are you resting, dude? You're going to get a break. I just need some water. No! This is not water time. What is going on? I don't understand. And he's like, I was like, what is wrong with you? He's like, I'm so tired. I don't know, I'm so tired.
That's classic.
And then he started having like people come and do it with him, like work out with him. And it was like a different person.
Oh,
Yeah, why doesn't, was it Genevieve?
I think she moved or
Oh,
something.
she moved? Okay.
But welcome back to the podcast today. I apologize, guys, for hacking up in the microphone. I'm not sick, but we might hear influenza Sally over here. She is getting over a little bit of a sickness.
I'm on the tail end of it.
She tried to kill everybody on Monday.
Did not try to kill everybody.
I begged it.
not
I
intentionally.
was nowhere near any of y'all, and then I left.
You know what would be crazy is if we went home and she's wearing a mask next to her animals because she doesn't want to get them sick. I
Yeah.
could see that. I could see her wearing a mask around the animals and around us. She's like, hey, come here, big boy.
Kind of close.
Actually, I picture mask on the animals as well.
Oh, I could see that too. Or like a little bubble or something.
yeah, a little
Yeah,
oxygen
protection bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all it
She,
is.
but, bro,
But I also love people.
This is normal.
Just don't
Yeah.
suck. That's all I ask. Don't suck.
I think it's okay for people to suck because we're human beings. And sometimes we do well, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we mess up, sometimes we do better. And not everybody is like this, but I think people should have a little bit of grace to be able to like mess up and do dumb things and suck a little bit and learn from it. Not everybody can be perfect. Not everybody can be as amazing as you, Lauren.
Oh, yeah.
It's only bad if you don't learn from
That's
your
exactly-
mistakes.
That's exactly
If
what my
everyone
point
makes
is.
mistakes. It's only bad when you just keep making the same mistake over and you don't.
Over and over and over again. That's only when it's
Bad.
not great. Why? Your eye gaze
I
is uncomfortable to me.
'Cause
It's very intense.
she's locked in this week.
She
though.
is. She's super hopped up.
Yeah.
She's got the raspy voice. Mhm. And then she's giving me these dagger eyes. I mean, what? I don't.
We don't know week to week.
Week to week.
We're just gonna.
James is over here trying to start fights.
I'm not trying to do anything. What are you talking about?
The people watching know. Because as you say over, people who make mistakes over and over, like
I like this. She's awake.
you
and-
literally slowly look at me. Am I the person who's making mistakes over and over and over again?
I am trying to make sure I address everyone in the room.
There's only two people.
Sometimes
And you
I'm
definitely
looking at
didn't-
him.
you definitely did not.
Sometimes I'm looking at the camera.
No, you did not.
Sometimes I'm, yeah,
Oh.
I started over here, didn't I? I said over,
Over.
and over
and multiple times
over
landed on
and
me.
over
Yeah.
again.
And he looked
I
back
think I
at me.
ended on again over here. Maybe I was
Yeah.
wrong. Maybe I ended it again over here. See what that is? That's conviction. Conviction is a real thing, and it's. I think it's important that we submit to that conviction. So if you're feeling that in your heart,
You just said the S word.
what?
Submit.
Oh,
we were
I was doing okay. And then
Yeah, that's sorry.
like dropping a friggin'
Just-
bomb.
Do you
Hiroshima.
not have a client in like an hour?
No, 55 minutes.
Okay, well, we better get this podcast rolling.
Yeah, I thought we were rolling.
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 Yeah, let that conviction.
Yeah,
Conviction.
you get your words right.
Conviction.
You get your words right. Before you come at me with your attitude.
Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about, Coach Carlos. When they talk to you and they talk about you, it's with awe, reverence, and respect.
Yes.
When this freaking chick talks to me, it's with disdain,
Usually a little bit argumentative.
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm being nice.
Like I don't even know. I don't even know.
I'm
You
going
know
to come
what?
in one day and I'm going to be so submissive and so like
I would love.
cordial.
I would love to see your definition of that.
I'm going to be so just cordial and so meek, and we're going to see how much you love it.
You know what's funny is, I'm probably going to love it. It's gonna be awesome, and I'm not gonna fight it. You know what's gonna end up happening?
gonna give it-
When the day's over, I'm gonna be like, Lauren, you were a joy today, and you're gonna be like so angry because you'll be like, oh, it's like James.
That's probably true.
See,
That's probably true.
oh man, guys,
Call me a joy.
we are having a time, and we appreciate you joining us today. in spite of how we sound, we do enjoy.
We're like
other?
we're like a family.
We're a family.
We love each other.
We're a family that a family that gives each other a hard time, stays together. I think that's how this thing goes, right? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. Yes. So
Gotta have some passion.
yeah. In fact, speaking of family, the BC Fit family, we have to give a couple shout outs. So I know many of you have probably seen it. Hopefully you've seen it, whether on social media or we've talked about it a few times on the podcast, but we are running a campaign right now called Build the Dream. And it's really meant to just kind of help build up, take us to that next level here at BC Fitness. And so it's a crowdfunding venture that we're doing. And so we've had so many people respond. It's been really awesome to see the positive responses that we've gotten. And so I just wanted to give out a couple quick shout outs because part of investing in the dream is we have different tiers. And in different tiers, there's different things, whether it's, you get some run coaching or shout outs on the podcast or whatever it may be, different levels. And so very specifically our vision partners, and these are individuals that have given at a certain level. I've got to give them a shout out here on the podcast just because they are so amazing. Obviously, along with some of our other members as well. But hitting that vision level status was Melissa Jones. She gave at the vision level, as well as Larry gave at the vision level. Heather Blue gave at the vision level. So those individuals have really stepped up and stepped out of the box. And so we're very appreciative and thankful for you guys. You guys are amazing. And all the other people that have given as well, we definitely gave those people shout outs on our Instagram. We'll continue to do that as we give updates. But we're just so thankful for everybody, whatever level you give, or if you're just sharing as well, letting other people know what's going on. Or we had a couple people, I had someone come up to me yesterday say, that they were talking to, I guess, another group that they're connected with, trying to get donations, getting them together to put a donation together. So it's really cool to see the response from the community to help us do this. I mean, everything we're doing is to help benefit the community and benefit our gym and those that come in. So it's been really awesome to see that response. So thank you guys for that. We're going to continue this through October. So we are so close to hitting our very first goal, the $10,000 goal.
Yes.
We're like right there. And so we also have a couple more goals, 20,000 and 30,000, the ultimate goal, so that we can get everything done that we want to get done. Excited. So things are happening. Our turf came in.
So
the High Rocks turf is going to be put in the next few days.
People have been very excited.
Yep. We've gotten some new equipment in the gym. And so that's kind of how we do things, right? We're just constantly trying to make things better, make the facility better. And obviously we can't get much better as coaches because, come on.
We try.
Yeah.
We're always
Right, Lauren?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll be right back after these messages.
All right, what does BC Fitness mean to me? It means a whole lot to me. So for a long time, I've been going out to Sunday Fun Day, or as I call it, Sufferfest Sunday, out on the track with James screaming, quicken your cadence. Getting better at running has been great at getting better for High Rocks. And then now I'm here in the gym with the BC Fit fam, getting ready for High Rocks Dallas. It means a lot to me to be part of an incredible community. I feel like BC gives a lot to me, so I'm excited to give back to it. Frankly, going to Sunday Fun Days, I'm like, I can't believe we don't pay money for this. And so any opportunity I have to financially empower BC Fitness, sign me up. I'm all in for it. I'm really excited about this campaign to expand the square footage of the gym space, to expand bathrooms, to add showers, to get the rubber matted flooring in here. As I came in today for my workout, I saw the High Rocks turf is here. So just super exciting things happening at BC Fitness, and I love this family, and anything I can do to contribute and help this family become more awesome, I'm all about it. Let's go.
And now back to the show. Locked in. So guys, thanks so much for giving. And today we are going to be getting back to the basics. We talked about it last week that, I felt like it was just one of those things where we just got to stop sometimes, take it back to the old school, and just talk about the basics of what it is to create a race plan or create a training plan or really get where we want to go. So last week we talked and started with technique, right? Talking about how we want to consistently work on our technique and become more efficient. And so today we are going to talk about something that I feel that when we meet up and we talk with our groups, whether it's the High Rocks Run Club or, in the gym as well, we kind of talk about it ad nauseum. But every time I talk to people at it, like on a one-on-one basis, and I explain it a little better or more in depth, I feel like I get these like light bulb moments with people. And so I had such conversation this week with someone, and it looked like it finally hit home for them, and they were like, oh, like it was like an aha moment, right? And so, I think it's a hot topic on social media. You see it a lot. Like they're telling people, coaches and, social media influencers, making the funny videos where like I'm out there doing my zone 2 run, and then there's like a someone on a walker walking past
them,
video,
yeah.
And so, you got to slow down to speed up, right? To get faster. And so I don't think people truly kind of like really grasp it and get it and understand what it is. And so I thought we could get back to the basics and really break down scientifically, physiologically speaking, and talk about why it's so important. It's not a new discovery. It's not something that just started happening. Endurance athletes and exercise scientists have been using like this kind of base training for decades. And it's really helped to build world-class athletes and performances. So in this second week, we are going to talk about why Zone 2 training works, how it transforms your body on a cellular level, and why you can't just skip it if you really want that long-term progression as a runner.
Love it.
Right? So I think the first thing we got to do is just kind of define what Zone 2 running is. So, Coach Carlos, how would you how would you describe Zone 2 running?
Zone 2 running, just in a description, it should be an easy pace where you should be able to talk in like 4 or 5 word sentences without having to take a breath.
Okay.
That's just one indicator there. So a nice easy pace should be an easy effort. Like I should be able to go like what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to go to the movies and then maybe go out to eat. Now, if you're running and you're like, I'm going out to that's really, but I'm talking though. No, it's probably a little bit too higher heart rate. So, and then just kind of effort level, it should be, 5 out of 10 almost, just easy.
Okay.
Or maybe even lower. Just it should be, it should feel at the end of like, wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
So those are a couple indicators I do besides, looking at heart rate data.
Okay. What about you, Lauren? How would you describe Zone 2 running?
I would say everything he said. You should be able to have a conversation. But another thing that you've always said that sticks in my head is the sing test.
Okay.
If you can carry a tune while you're running, then and actually like carry the tune, you're in the Zone 2.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel like you're struggling because singing takes a little more like concentration and work through the diaphragm.
Yeah. And more oxygen.
And
right?
more oxygen.
More oxygen to be able to belt out those notes. So, I always like to think of it as, too easy. It feels like it's too easy.
Yeah.
Like you're running and you're like, this is too easy. I should be going harder.
That's the discipline.
If it feels like that, you're doing
You're right where you need to be.
You're probably where you need to be. And it's just mainly because, we've all grown up this way, and it does kind of make sense to an extent that, like, if I want to get better, I need to go hard. I need to be pushing myself to, whatever limit I might have, so I can push past those limits. And that's not what we want to do. That's not how we train that Zone 2, right? And so there is science behind that. There's definitely science, and it basically comes down to aerobic-based training. So one way I like to describe it usually is the way most people are doing their training is they're constantly, it seems like to me anyway, that they're constantly working on like the second and third floors. Like if you're building a house and you're really trying to get a really big second floor, you're putting in the pool on the third floor, but you don't spend any time building a foundation, a strong, wide base to handle, the gym on the second floor and the pool on the third floor. And so as you keep building those floors in the upper level, what ends up happening is that building gets kind of top heavy and it ends up toppling and falling over.
I want to go to your house. That sounds nice.
It does sound nice.
I need to rethink my house dreams.
But it's probably going to fall over.
Would you say that like the second and third floor, like the second floor would be like your speed work, third floor would be like your long distance running because you need the foundation to be able to do those correctly?
I would say more like in this analogy, like your second floor would be like your threshold building, your speed work, and then like the third floor would be more like your anaerobic, high intensity, strength based stuff, right? Like 5 to 10 minutes of like all out, whatever, right? So those are the things that look good on Instagram. They're the things that
sexy
that look great on Strava, and
those are the ones you want to post about.
Yeah, for sure. So, but unfortunately, physiologically speaking, your body is not really going to benefit from that because you can only progress as much as your aerobic capacity can handle. So, if we're talking specifically about the science of aerobic based building, there's this thing called the Krebs cycle. And if you've ever like had a science class or a biology class, you've probably heard of the Krebs cycle, and it sounds familiar, but you may not actually know what it is. But it's actually it's also known as a citric acid cycle. And so inside your cells, you have what's called the mitochondria, and it is the
Powerhouse of the cell.
the powerhouse of the cell, right? And so in zone 2 training, what you do is you actually stimulate mitochondrial growth and efficiency. And so, the more mitochondria you have, then the more energy, or ATP, your body's able to create. And what that does, it creates less fatigue. So I always use this example, right? So if you have ATP, this 3 to 5 seconds of energy, which is what ATP is, what happens is when you utilize that energy, you create these 2 byproducts, okay? So that 1 ATP becomes 2 waste byproducts, and they're names for them, but basically just understand it's lactate, okay? And so that lactate builds up in your bloodstream, and if you're operating at a level where your heart is moving so fast that it can't recycle or process that lactate out to create more energy, then as that lactate builds up, it becomes so toxic in your bloodstream that you have to slow down. And so you feel the burn in your lungs, you feel the burn in your legs. And so what having a strong aerobic foundation does, or operating in zone 2 does, is instead of burning sugar really quickly, your body learns to oxidize that fuel, and it saves whatever sugars or glycogen you have for later. Okay, and so in zone 2 specifically, what you end up doing is you end up becoming more efficient at using fat as an energy source, right? And so in addition to that, the lactate clearance, right? So the process of recycling that lactate out through your lungs by carbon dioxide and getting in new oxygen as well. This teaches your body to be more efficient at a lower intensity. Well, if you're efficient at a lower intensity, what do you think probably is going to happen?
You're more efficient at a higher intensity.
There you go. So you become able to handle more intensity later on without crashing as soon. And so that's how you end up speeding up. That's how you end up getting faster. So like people don't understand this. Like if I run an easy, super chill pace and I'm able to keep my heart rate down, well, the more I do that, the more efficient I'm going to get. And so eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to be running the same pace or maybe even a little bit faster with a lower heart rate. Well, if that's what happens, well, then guess what? It takes me longer to get into my lactate threshold. So that means I'm also able to run faster before I get into my lactate threshold. So that if I'm running faster before I get into my lactate threshold, well, once I get into my lactate threshold, that also means I'm running faster, and I'm probably going to be more efficient at processing that lactate. So it's like this chain reaction of things that happens that now I have this huge base, and so that means my peak can be higher.
I mean, just like we talked last week, efficiency.
Yes.
With the run drills, and the same thing with the training. Just the more efficient you can get, the faster, stronger you can be.
Right. So the zone 2 basically is like your engine. You're building the engine, and so you're getting a bigger engine. And then when you start working on speed, start doing the hard stuff, well, that's like adding a turbocharger, right? So think about this. Right now, you've got like a 4-cylinder, right? 4-cylinder manual that's, it's making it. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to encourage you to do is take that 4-cylinder. We're going to replace that with a big block. All right. We're going to put in like a Hemi in this bad boy. Okay. 8-cylinder Hemi.
Okay.
And then on top of that, once you've got this 8-cylinder Hemi, we're going to put a super turbocharger on that sucker so that it can just like suck in that oxygen. And then we're going to put a nitro bottle on there so that when it's really time, you press that button and you're like,
I think she's worried about how much this is going to cost in gas. She's like, how much?
And if you're listening, you know anything about cars, that was probably all very exciting. And if you're like me and you don't know anything about cars, you're just trying to pick. I'm still on the 4-cylinder block. I'm still on the 4 cylinders.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know what anything else. When you say block, that's not like an act. What is that?
It's an engine.
Engine, motor.
Guys, I don't know cars.
It's okay. It's fine. So, but that's really what it's all about. The zone 2, and we can put zone 3 in there as well, right? Zone 2, I believe, is just more efficient because it's less intensity on the body. So your body's not working as hard. Plus, you're becoming more efficient at using fat as an energy source. But zone 3, which is where, like, if I'm coaching someone, that's usually where I try to start because that's usually hard enough as it is, right?
I was about to say, usually I'll say zone 2, but they end up in zone 3.
Yeah.
That's just where you're probably smart just by saying just do zone 3.
Actually, I had a client a little while ago. They were sending me their runs, and like after a couple of their runs, they were like, oh, nailed zone 2, and I was looking at it, and I think they're using Garmin, and so you know how Garmin is like, zone 5 is red, zone 4 is orange, zone 3 is green, zone 2 is blue, and it was like orange and green, like every run. But she was improving. They were getting better and like there was more green and less orange every single time. So I'm like, oh, you're doing great. You're improving. Keep it up. You know, you're going the right direction. But like, she kept sending zone 2. And I'm like, I was like, maybe it's just like a typo or something. So we were in the gym, I think, one day, and we were talking. I think I was on the bike, and I was like, so you know what zone 2 is? I just want to make sure I clarified this. And I was going through it. She's like, you've never told me that before. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, that's all I talk about. And so she was getting on to me a little bit about like, I didn't communicate that to her. And so I was trying to like explain the difference between zone 2 and zone 3. And I was like, zone 3 is fine. You can be in zone 3. But ultimately, if you can if you're able to slow yourself down to get to that zone 2, it will probably benefit you more effectively. And so it was just kind of like a little funny interaction because I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like I described it, but it's so much information over and over and over again. Eventually, like you start picking up on like stuff you missed maybe the first 8 times.
Yeah.
Right. But when you started running, right, you started slowing down, what was the most challenging thing do you feel like for like trying to like do the easier efforts?
I think just what you said, the ego.
Okay.
Of just, no, I'm not that slow. I'm not 12-minute mile slow.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before. My first run, I give you like 10:30. My heart rate was probably like whatever it was high. And you're like, no, that's not, what you're supposed to be doing. So, after that, I was like, okay, that's well, I'm paying you. Let me listen to this guy. Mm-hmm. And just kind of fell into it. So it was just kind of trusting the process, and then it takes time. Yeah. It does take time for for your heart rate to stabilize, and it's not fun doing 13-minute miles.
Feels like it takes forever.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it was time based when I first started running.
Right.
And so once you kind of just buy in, I would say buying into it is the toughest thing. Once you buy into it, then you start feeling it, and you kind of notice the difference. I've had people that I've trained now, and they're like, I didn't think I'd like running. Yeah. But they probably were running too hard, and it was just, tearing them up a little bit. So
that's actually, I think, for me, what I find very interesting is that when you talk about zone 2 running or zone 3 running, or we'll just say aerobic running for now, is how people fight you so much on it, like how they like push against you. But once they start actually doing it, I don't know of anybody that hasn't said, I used to not like running, but now I actually really enjoy going on my runs. I really enjoy my runs. And without a doubt, it's because they're easy runs. And I think most of the time people don't like running is because when they're done with it, they feel so horrible. They feel like their knees are going to fall off. They feel like their hips are jacked up. Their Achilles is torn up. And so like they feel worse after the run than they felt before the run.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, if I go run, I'm not going to feel good.
Well, if you've done 5 days of tempo running,
that might do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. Yeah, for sure. What about you, Lauren?
What was the original question again?
Ay, Dios mío.
No, I was listening, and then I also got stuck on that'll do, pig. I was thinking
she loves
Charlotte's.
Pigs.
Well, I do love
She
pigs, but I was also
heard
thinking
pig.
Charlotte's Web.
She's like, man, this pig is doing a
No,
good
that's
job.
Babe. That'll do pigs from Babe, not Charlotte's Web.
No, it is from Charlotte's Web.
Is it? It's also from Babe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good movie. Anyway,
I'm talking about the book, but whatever. Anyway,
focus.
when you are running easy, when you're learning to run easy,
Yeah.
when you're trying to like do the easy mileage,
Yeah.
like what was like the big challenge for you?
I would say same thing. Just learning to slow down, because for me, like, and just how I, live my very well organized life, it was getting the runs in between things, like trying to squeeze in 3 miles here, 3 miles there, not managing my time correctly. So like having to feel rushed to do all my runs. So like I was always trying to get runs, like a 3 mile run done, and like I can do it in 25 minutes. and then I'd be like in a threshold the entire time, but I'm like trying to just squeeze the mileage in. Whereas now I just try to plan my days better, so I know I need to stay in zone 2, so I know it's going to take me this much time to stay in that pace. Then that's just when I need to do it. It's either later at night or I got to get up in the morning and do it. It's one of the two.
Yep.
So I just plan better.
Which one do you usually do?
It usually ends up being an evening run.
Just curious. I was just wondering.
No, it's usually an evening run. I'm the creepy person that's running through the neighborhood at 11 p.m.
What neighborhood do you live in?
Lakewood Forest. Oh wait, dang it!
What is wrong with you?
Dang it!
Do you mind telling your exact route?
I literally was. I was a test for you to be like, I'm not going to say that on national TV.
I forgot.
What is? Oh,
We're gonna have to cut that. We're gonna have to cut that. Bleep it. No, just bleep it. Put a bleep over it.
Oh my god.
Put a bleep over it. My bad. Oh wow, I failed that hard.
I love that you're surprised every time.
No, I wasn't. Surprised.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't surprised, but I was hoping she would pass it.
I was surprised.
I was hoping.
Yeah. So I was like,
Man.
no, she ain't gonna say. She's like, I'm not gonna say that, James.
She gave that information.
That was
real
really
quick.
wetty.
Really
That was
quick.
really
There was
readily
no hesitation
available.
at all. That was
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't throw in her freaking zip code and freaking phone number at the same time. That's so awesome.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So the reason I asked
I live in an unknown neighborhood.
the reason I asked those questions is because there's actually, like we mentioned earlier, there are actually quite a few case studies and scientific studies that have been done that prove this, right? So this isn't one of those things where like, okay, do this just because, just do it because I said it works, right? There's actually quite a bit of data that suggests not only that this is effective, but it's the most effective way to train. So, I mean, you watch social media right now and people are like, you don't have to run to like get in shape, right? You don't have to do cardio is usually the term, right?
Yeah.
So don't do hours of cardio if you want to get ripped. And so we're not talking about getting ripped. We're talking about getting faster. We're talking about being more efficient. We're talking about being healthier and stronger overall. And so we're talking about literally training an energy system, not like trying to get abs.
Getting jacked and stacked for an Instagram post.
Question for you.
Yeah.
On that, don't you feel? I mean, I've seen it in my physique. Is the zone 2 running helps you burning fat while running it?
Well, it
Does
does.
help you get leaner.
It does.
I
I
mean,
if you're running zone 2, you
that's
are.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that is like it's not a fast, sexy hit workout,
Right.
But it does take time. But I feel like I've become leaner by sticking to the zone 2.
Yeah, no, it does.
So
the thing is, and I think the misnomer is people hear like a lot of times what people say on social media and like online and YouTube, everything. It's not that it doesn't work, that HIIT training doesn't work, or that zone 2 or easy long distance running doesn't work. It's just the point is that you could go and do a 15-minute HIIT workout and burn more fat in 15 minutes than you would do 15 minutes of a zone 2 run.
Yes.
And that is actually very factual, right? You will burn more calories because the intensity level is so high. So yes, it is more effective at burning fat in a short period of time.
Okay.
But it's not necessarily meaning it's the best thing for you. So some of the studies, there are some interesting studies I found actually. There was one that was done University of Agder, Norway. And so this is the guy, Stephen Saylor. He's actually the guy that kind of coined the 80-20. Okay. And he's the one who kind of came up with the whole 80-20 rule. And so he studied some very elite endurance athletes across all sports and found that 80% of training was low intensity. And so 80% of the training that we're talking elite athletes here.
What time frame was this study done? Do you know?
What do you mean? Like how, like over what period of time?
Oh, no. Like in the 80s or?
No. This study was done like in the early 80s.
Okay.
That's what we got here, right? So, and this is not over like just in the 80s. This was over like decades. Okay. So this is over an extended period of time. And so what the study found was that 80% of training was done at a low intensity. So that's basically zone 2 or even below that, while only 20% of their training was done at higher intensities. And so it's a polarized model, right? So it's a very specific model. So what it produced was a significantly higher VO2 max and an endurance performance than doing just higher intensity training, okay? So thinking of like, say, a 10K athlete, instead of just going out and running intervals and threshold efforts all the time, they would only do those 20% of the time. And so what they found is not only were they more effective at developing a higher VO2 max, but they also were less injured. Well, if you're less injured, if you're not injured as much, that means you can keep training. And if you can keep training, what does that mean?
Getting
You're getting better.
You're probably going to get faster, right? So another study by Holenzi and Coyle that was done in 1984 in the Journal of Applied Physiology. And this is probably the most cited endurance study that's ever been done. So it's basically researchers found that consistent aerobic training increased mitochondrial density by 40% in trained athletes. So think about that, right? That's very specific. So it's not in all athletes. It's specifically already in trained athletes. So athletes who had already been working out, people who are already fit, people who are already doing whatever, that it increased the density of the mitochondrial by 40%. So we know there's a rule, right? There's the law of diminishing returns, which means the fitter you are, the harder you have to work to get the same result.
Yeah.
And so by lowering the intensity and increasing the volume, they found that they had a 40% increase in their mitochondrial.
That's a pretty big jump.
That's a big jump, right? So basically the takeaway was that more mitochondria mean more efficient energy use, delayed fatigue, and faster recovery, right? So it's like the old adage, right? I run easier paces so I can do more miles so that I can run easier paces so I can do more miles so I can get faster. It's just like a cycle. And so since you're not running so fast, you're able to recover faster. Well, if you're able to recover faster, you can
Keep running.
more.
You can keep running. You can
Yeah.
run more volume. If you can run more volume, you're going to get faster, right? So it's like this beautiful cycle. And then the last one is a more recent one. It's from 2022, and it's a meta-analysis, and it's from this group called the Frontiers in Physiology. And they reviewed 40-plus studies on, now these are studies themselves, so 40 different studies on endurance training intensities. And they found that so that means of different types of training that are out there. Okay, there were 40 different studies that they looked at of different kinds of training. So you're talking HIIT training, you're talking, low intensity, high intensity, threshold training, and they found that zone 2 training improved VO2 max, lactate threshold, and recovery more sustainably than high intensity only programs. So slow training, it's not wasted miles. It's literally like the most effective way to increase your overall training performance.
No, that's all win-win.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you hear these facts is like, why would you fight doing the zone 2 training?
Right.
That's what's kind of
When you hear it.
Yes, when you start hearing this, like 40% increase. You can train more, but it's just
Which is honestly, it seems like, a lot of the people we talk to, that's the goal. Everyone wants to train more.
yes,
Right? Hey, I want to add this. I want to add this. I feel like I should be doing this, right?
Yes.
So I think the goal for everybody is to add more.
100%.
And this allows you to be able to do that, right? And so what I think the greatest thing is it when you add in that progression, like that 10% progression per week, you can be surprised that like within 6 months how much more volume you can be doing now than you were when you started.
No, like going to the point of like myself.
Yeah.
You've upped my mileage. Mm-hmm. And before, you say you're at 10, 15 miles, it takes a while.
Yeah.
Only adding a mile a week. But once you start getting that 30 miles, 40 miles,
quickly,
it
yeah.
adds. I was doing my numbers. I was like, holy smoke, I'm going to be hitting 5 more this week.
Yeah.
So it goes quick. So it
does.
But it's as it increases, like a 4 or 5 mile run, that's just a quick chunk now. It's not even that big of a deal. It's just kind of become the norm.
Yeah.
So it would just that progression of just 10%, it adds up.
It does. So I was talking to one of my athletes today, and we were running before the workout, and they brought up, I guess someone they knew had gotten hurt or injured, or they'd seen a couple people that are like, someone was injured, and then I talked to someone this week that was going through kind of like an injury type situation, and we had literally just like been talking to that person. And they were talking about like some of their goals for their race and everything else. And there were some pretty big goals and what their training looked like. And I was like I made a face or whatever and I didn't mean to make the face, right? But when I was hearing what they were doing, I was like, oh man, I was like, I hope they don't get hurt, And I was like, well, you might want to just kind of ease up a little bit, maybe not do so much hard efforts. I was doing what I do, I was just trying to be, I was trying not to be they didn't ask me for my opinion, first of all, right? So I was trying not to like give unsolicited advice, but I also was like, man,
You
I
see
see
them.
how
You
this
see
is
them
gonna
driving
go.
towards the cliff.
exactly.
Yeah,
you
you
kind of
see
like
how
want to
it's
give
gonna
like some
end.
helpful tips.
Like, it's like I'm throwing a yield sign up, right? More so than like yelling at them, stop, cliff is coming, you know?
You're not my client, but hey,
I just want to be helpful, you know, and I was like mentioning, like this and that, and I was like, so here's what I started doing. I was like, so have you been feeling any kind of like aches or pains or any kind of hurts or anything? No, man, I've been feeling great, and then they were like, just the normal stuff. Sometimes my knee bothers me a little bit, or my heel, and last night my hip was kind of bothered. So they actually started going on the list of all the problems they're having.
I think it's funny that people like say that those are normal, like those are normal things to them.
Yeah, and I mean, for runners, they are, but that's usually if you're just progressing too much or running too fast. Right?
I had a client kind of mention their knee a little bit, and I guess she had talked to a runner friend of hers, and like, oh, they just said that's normal for running.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. Have you been stretching? Any foam rolling? No.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
So it's normal. When people hear that, then they think, oh, well, it's normal, so I can just keep doing it.
yes.
And that's how you get injured.
Yep.
Right? That's how you, or make a major injury, right? So I was like, well, make sure you're foam rolling. Are you doing strength training? You want to make sure you're doing this, and you're doing a lot of speed work, so you might want to, maybe do more volume and everything. And so, they mentioned that I guess they're not going to be able to do the race or something, or they're going to have to like take a break or something like that, and that they were injured. And so I was thinking to myself, like as we were talking, I was like, you just ran 75 miles last week, and you've got a marathon coming up. The person I was talking to, and how many injuries have you had in the last 4 or 5 years? She's like 0. I was like, how many PRs have you had? She's like, a lot. So what do you do the majority of the time? I run easy. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're always running super chill, and she does not like running slow.
No.
She likes running fast,
Yes.
right? But she runs super chill and super easy, and it's given her the ability to really like peak up her volume and go higher. Well, on the flip side of that, what she also is doing is she's doing some really hard workouts a couple times a week, right? So we're like on opposite ends of the spectrum. So when it's time to go hard, we go hard.
Yeah.
And what was funny is I started looking at it, and I was realizing that, technically we do, if we're doing 80-20, she did 72 miles. So that means she could do like 14 miles of speed work a week. Okay. I mean, to me, that's a lot of speed work.
Yeah.
And she was hitting it. I mean, she had a pretty long, like threshold style day in the middle of the week. And then, she was doing some stuff on the end of her long run. I think her longest run was like 22 miles or something. And like 10 of it was at race pace, right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a long way.
That's incredible. That's
right?
Yeah.
And she nailed it. She crushed it, right? Well, all that does is build your confidence for race day that you can nail your stuff, right? And so, like, we were talking about the other individuals' speed work, and some of these people we were talking to, and I even talked to this week, they're doing more speed work than I am. And I'm doing like 15, 20 miles more a week than they are. And so that balance is really off, right? Their long run was longer than my long run, but I'm doing more volume in a week than they're doing. And so because of that, they're not giving their body the time to adapt. They're going too hard on their body, and their body is not able to handle that load because they don't have that foundation to manage that load. And so they end up getting hurt or injured.
I've run into that a little bit lately of people on their volume not thinking they should be running their long run longer.
Yes.
It's almost like you're at a 4-mile long run, like, but I've done 7.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You're playing
Just
for
because you
5.
can do it once.
So that's it's kind of the 30%. That's of your long run. That's where volume comes into play, slowly building up.
Yeah.
I told that kind of same person. I was like, well, what's the most? Looking at your past. So if you stick with this, you're gonna run like over 40 miles this month.
Yeah.
When have you done that? Never.
Right.
So that's a big key. Not just your long runs, the overall volume. Of it.
And that's crazy because I still have people that I'm coaching that that are newer, and they're kind of getting the concept of running easy and everything else. And I was talking to someone the other day, and I can't remember. It all blends together now, right? Because I have some of the same conversations. What's funny is like people hear me talk on the podcast. We were running the other day, and they're like, "Yeah, were you talking about me?" And I was like, "No, actually, I wasn't." Because it's like everybody. The more I coach people, the more I realize is that we're all special and different. right? And individuals, but we're all
Doing the same thing.
doing the same things. We're making the same mistakes and struggling the same way. So, like, when I mention these stories, it's not because I'm trying to call any one particular person out. It's just because I want people to realize that you're not in this alone.
Yeah.
Other people are making the same mistakes, but then when they adjust it and do it in a different way, they're also getting the benefit, right? And so I was talking to one person, and they were like kind of frustrated and like, oh my God, this is so slow, or this is this and this is whatever. And and I was like, all right, have you ever ran this far before in the last year? No. Are you injured or hurt? No. Are you doing all the strength training? Yes. So you're doing more volume now than you've ever done before, and you're not hurt? Yes. What does that sound like to you? Does it sound like it's working? Well, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I was like, I know. So speed doesn't matter. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It only matters on race day and when you're supposed to be doing speed work.
I had a client, I guess someone talked to them and they were like, this person's doing their speed work. I mean, their zone 2 work. And this other person was I don't know who it was, but more a proponent of running hard every time.
Okay.
And they were like, don't you ever feel like you just want to let loose and run?
I never feel that way. I don't know. It's crazy.
And I kind of thought and chuckled is like, we see your race times. That's what you're going to run every week because you're running hard. That is, you're at the max effort. I like to, let loose. Think of your zone 2 run, letting loose on the tempo work in race days when you're going to show up.
Yeah.
That's when you let loose.
Yeah.
The discipline of that's where you're going to show.
Here's my opinion. I could be wrong. But if you ever are out running and you have this sense or feeling of, oh, I'm going to let loose today, right? I really feel like running fast today. You're probably not doing any kind of real speed work. You're not doing stuff that's challenging you in a way, the way it should be. Because me personally, I run easy a lot. I've never felt like I'm going to let it rip today.
I want to suffer.
Never. Because I know in 1 day or 2 days, I'm about to do a workout that's going to suck. And I'm not going to want to do that workout. And I'm going to be nervous in the morning when I get up. And I'm going to be like dragging my butt when it's time to do it. And then I'm going to have to start it. And then when it's about halfway through, I'm gonna be like, God, I want this to be over so much, right? So I'm going through all this stuff for this one workout. So if I get to run easy, I'm running easy.
Yes, I'm like, you know what? I better start organizing my sock drawer before I do this. I'm coming up with reasons not to go out there and do that tempo work. You know what?
That's it.
Dogs, you want to go out for another walk? Come on.
And I hope it starts to lightning today.
That's right.
I need some thunder and a little lightning, please.
Yes.
And that's in my opinion, right? So if your hard workouts aren't that hard, where you're having to negotiate yourself to go do it, well, then it's probably not hard enough. And you're not challenging yourself and you're not pushing yourself. And so, yeah, you probably will feel like, I'm feeling saucy today.
No, like Thursday, like the workouts you give me, the High Rocks workouts on Thursday, I am in a mood. I get mentally start getting prepared for that workout.
You do.
Because it's going to hurt.
You're really quiet when I get in, and you were on the bike when I was foaming. I'm like, are we starting? You're like, I'm warming up. And I was like, okay, I better get warmed up.
You're about to do something. If you're doing it properly, hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt.
If you're doing the 20% right, you should be like crap.
I mean, this was, I had five something on the pull today.
I've been shredding.
You had to want it.
Yeah.
It's not going to come hitting that tape. You're going to have to pull to get over that tape. You have to be in that mindset. If it's either I'm going to just, wimp out or, you know what I mean? But you have to want that workout,
Yeah.
The burpee, lunges. It's the whole thing. It's you have to hit it intensely. That's how the workout's designed. Like when you're resting, you better be. If you can sit there and chit chat while you're resting, no, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I think. It's funny, a little bit funny, but you were, we have our Thursday workout, and it was just me working out, and then I let people come work out with me. It was mainly Tommy. Me and Tommy would work out. And then I don't know who came next. I think it's probably you.
Because you and I partnered together for High Rocks.
Yeah, and I was trying to help you and encourage you and strengthen you. And then maybe you and I were training for High Rocks too.
Yeah, France.
And so you got to come, but she was still coming, right? And then she invited a couple people because she had her partner.
I had my partner, who I was also going to championships with, Yep.
And so, it was growing, and that was fine, whatever. And we would do the workout, and I would assign workouts, and they would just do their own variation of it, right? And they're taking all these breaks, they're laughing, she's setting up the camera, they're slapping each other on the butt, they're having a good time. And then I think I was we were in the middle of a work, we were getting it. You know what I'm saying? And so obviously my heart rate's elevated. I don't want to do this workout anyway. And then I'm looking over here watching the people like just not do the workout properly.
We tell this story so much.
And so I say something to them about like how they should be working out, and they got their feelings hurt.
Well, one of them never came back.
Well, no, she's come back, but she hasn't come back.
She hasn't
work
come
out
back to
with
those.
me.
She won't come back.
She
to those
trains with
workouts.
Coach Carlos.
Yeah.
Now I remember that every time I see her, I think about it. But the point is that like you're in there working out hard, but you're not really working out hard. You're doing like this like pseudo hard effort, and that's not what the point of the workout is. And so when people train, oftentimes I don't think they don't understand the concept of every workout should have a reason to it or
Intention.
an intentionality to it, right? You should be very deliberate. Today, this is the point of the workout. And so this is how I should feel, or this is how it should go. You know, oftentimes, even when I still give it, like even in classes, you know, I'll tell people, okay, hey guys, this is what we're going to do today. This is the point of the workout. Let's do this. Actually, Tuesday, I was like, all right, here's what we're doing. Here's the point of the workout. Here's how you should feel when you're done. So I'm watching these people, and it was like a short workout, right? It was supposed to be intense, like go hard. And I'm watching these people walk around between sets,
sipping water,
moseying around, getting some water. And I was like, hey guys, this is not a mosey workout. You should be moving at a much greater intensity.
This was the track workout?
No, it was Tuesday morning.
Oh,
the early morning class, the high rocks class, whatever.
Okay.
And so like as the workout kept progressing, like I kept kind of pushing them a little harder, and they were doing much better of like going faster and faster and faster. And finally, like about halfway through the workout, they were ending the workout the way they should be. Laying on the ground, verklempt, like,
So
and
that's good how you explained at the beginning of this is the intention.
Yes, but then they didn't like actually do that, right? So like there's got to be a definite goal for each particular workout. Our philosophy is based off of all the science I've seen, you know, many case studies, and then my own personal experiences. 80% of that should be very, very, very low intensity, where it feels like you're almost wasting your time. Like honestly, that's the way I think it should be. It should be so chill that you feel like, why did I even do this, right? And what that does, I believe, so much is that it sets you up, because now your body is in a state when it's time to go hard, you can actually go as hard as necessary. Because you want to put yourself in positions that you are going to feel on race day. We say this all the time. You don't do anything new on race day. Well, if you don't do anything on race day, that means you have to feel what race day is going to feel like.
Yep.
And the only way you can do that is by going with the same types of intensity, right? So for me, the 20% is less about it does definitely. There's physiological things that happen in your body. Lactate threshold increases. You know, you're more efficient at processing that lactate. You know, your muscles get stronger. Your turnover gets quicker. You know, your anaerobic capacity goes up. That's all great stuff. But to me, that's not as important as learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable and what you need to do to push through that, right? How can I overcome this feeling that, you know, I'm hurting. I'm really hurting. And that's to me what the 20% is about. But if you don't do the 80%, you don't set yourself up to be successful in that 20%.
Just what you said, the setup.
Yeah.
It is so important. I feel some people just miss that as far as I'm going to do this hard workout, not thinking about what's down the road.
Right.
Of just, I'll just do this kind of speed work and I'll just move it. You know, obviously life has some times when you move stuff around.
Yeah, for sure.
But when there's no thought process, well, I'm going to just do this hard workout, then it almost dilutes the 20%.
Yeah.
Like just what you said, you're not really pushing as hard as you think you are, or maybe you don't have the capacity at that time because your body's kind of tired from all the other running too fast or whatever it is, doing too many hard workouts stacked in a row.
Right.
So it's having, knowing that difference, like you said, big word, the setup.
Yeah.
All the week should be a setup altogether.
Yeah, for sure. So here's some practical applications I think that we can utilize, or you can utilize, to help you find like what zone 2 training is. Because here's what's funny is a lot of times I'll coach people who've already been doing stuff, right? And that's usually when people come to me is they've already been trying it. You know, maybe they're not seeing the results, or they get hurt, or they get injured, and they see us on Instagram, or maybe they listen to the podcast, or maybe they just see us around town. You know, they see me around town, and they're like, it seems like everybody's getting better, so I want to try to get in on that. And so a lot of times their zones are not really in the right place. Some Garmin read that they had a 295 max heart rate, right? And so they changed their zones. Or they change their own zones. That's what's I see that a lot actually. People
Really?
go in and adjust their own zones, and like
I've never thought to do that.
We're gonna shift that to all
yeah.
that.
So it's like they shift the number to where it looks like they're running zone 2, but they ain't running zone 2 or zone 3, right? So those heart rate zones are based off of your maximum heart rate, okay? As we age, your max heart rate will decline, okay? Now, it can go back up to an extent based on your fitness level, right? The strength of your heart, your VO2 max. So your max heart rate can increase some, but it's not going to increase as much as it was when you were, 19, right?
Yeah.
So as we age, that will decrease. Same thing with your VO2 max. As you age, your VO2 max maximum will go down. It can go up. Your VO2 max can go higher, but like the extent of where it can go will never be as high as it once could. The way I say it is, it'll never be as high as it could have been, but it can be as high as it's ever been, right? And so how do you learn? How do you know what that is? Well, it's based off of your maximum heart rate, and it's usually somewhere between 60 and 70% of your max heart rate. So if your maximum heart rate's like 185, 184, well, then that means your zone 2 is going to be somewhere in the 115 probably to like 128 range, something like that. Whereas if it's higher, like if your maximum heart rate's like, say, 195 or 200, well, then it's going to be closer to like in the 130s and 140s. And so the younger you are, the higher your heart rate can be. The older you are, the lower it's going to need to be. And so it's not like a cookie cutter number. And so there's ways you can do it. So one way you can do it is, if you're wearing one of the sports watches, Amazfit, Garmin, Suunto, whatever, the more you wear it, the more accurate usually it is, but it'll give you, based off of your age and your fitness level and everything, like what it believes your max heart rate is. And it should be within reason, pretty close. There's also a formula you can use. So the original formula was 220 minus your age. Okay. It's not super accurate because it doesn't take into account fitness level and, improving and all that other stuff, but it is a good place to start. And it's going to give you a good generalization to know kind of where your heart rates are. Another one that's a little more accurate would be like take 220 minus your age, and you multiply that times 0.6, and then you subtract that by 0.75. So it's a formula, right? So it's 220 minus your age times 0.6 minus 0.75, and that should give you a fairly decent, accurate depiction of what your maximum heart rate is. And so now, since you know what your or you have an idea what your maximum heart rate is, then you just simply would 60 to 70% of your max heart rate is zone 2, 70 to 80% of your max heart rate is zone 3. And so understand we can be either one, ultimately try to be in zone 2 as much as possible. Then once you kind of have that established, then you say, okay, how much zone 2 should I be doing? We believe 80-20 is what we do. So 80% of our efforts our weekly efforts should be in that lower intensity zone. So simple math. If you are running 10 miles a week, that means 8 miles of that should be super easy. Mm-hmm. If you're doing 20 miles a week, 16 of those miles should be super easy.
Easy math.
Very easy math, right? So whatever that mileage is, the bulk of that mileage should be super, super duper chill. And so we're flipping the script and we're doing more of the easy than we are of the hard. And then you look at the progression, okay? And so the progression, basically the way we work it, the way I feel is really safe and easy to do, 10% rule. So we don't increase 10%, more than 10% a week. So that means no more than, if you're doing 10 miles, you wouldn't add more than a mile. If you're doing 20, you wouldn't add more than 2 miles. And that progression allows your body the adaptation time to really benefit not only from that aerobic capacity training, but also it keeps your body from getting too beat up, right? And so most common mistakes that runners are going to make is they basically go too hard on their easy days and too easy on their hard days. We want to flip that. Keep the easy days easy.
And the hard days hard.
And keep the hard days murderously hard, right? And so that just ensures that you have training balance. And then it also gives you purpose to each and every effort that you're doing, right? So I understand easy training is not, or base building is not super easy. It's not glamorous for sure. And it doesn't give you like that instant Strava bragging rights, right? You're not going to be fastest known time everywhere. But if you want to be, maybe do your speed day on that section, right? On that Strava segment. But it truly is the secret weapon to every single successful endurance athlete or elite athlete for that matter. And so remember, the bigger the base, the higher the peak. Right? We do not work on the second floor without first establishing a huge foundation, right? So you're better off developing a huge base of easy base run, easy zone 2 running, and just doing that. You will get faster just doing that. Just do 100% of that than doing the threshold medium intensity efforts all the time.
I would almost challenge someone, starting off, do a month of just zone 2, and then after that month,
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. See, kick a little, tempo run, and I guarantee you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
I usually get tired at this pace. So, you'll have that engine.
Yeah. I was telling somebody the other day, like when I was learning to run, right, and I was trying to become a better runner, and, I went through 2 different race seasons and obstacle course racing specifically. And I told them that for the first 6 months, all I did was easy training. I didn't do any speed work. I did 0, none. And I went from, I think I did a beast, which is like a half marathon, right? And it took me like 3 hours and 30 minutes, I think, or something like that. I limped over the finish line. I was like, never again. And in 6 months, I went from that to I finished 5th, top 5, and I was like 2 hours and like 5 minutes or something like that.
Nice.
So I shaved over an hour off. I went from 400th place to 5th place. And in 6 months with 0 speed work, only aerobic base training. And then the next 6 months, I did aerobic base training, and then I started adding in the 20%.
Okay.
And that took me from 5th place to 1st place. Right?
Beautiful.
So to me, the 20% is the detail stuff. It's that next level. It's that, that law of diminishing returns. I'm going to have to do a little more to get more. And I don't even think I did 20%, to be honest with you. I think I did more like 90-10, right? And it made a huge difference. So the aerobic stuff is really what it's all about. The hard stuff is really just to train your mind that you can handle doing tough things.
And like you said, details.
It's all the details.
Yep.
So guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope that was beneficial for you. We're going to continue this series, building or getting back to the basics. Next week, we are going to be getting into a little thing that I know y'all are going to be excited about, and that's nutrition. And that's how do you feel the runs? How do you feel before the runs? How do you feel during the runs? And, how do you feel so that you stay healthy, that you stay strong, that you aren't getting sick all the time, that your body's not breaking down? Because I think that's going to be important. I can't even get it out without smiling.
It's been like a progression.
Yeah.
From the caffeine. I've literally watched the caffeine drain out of her.
It has.
Yeah. I have literally seen from someone so hyped up.
It's like she literally had some side of being sucked out of her.
Yeah.
Right?
I've literally watched her. It's been a whole progression. I hope you video.
We're videoing it. Yeah.
Or at least time lapse.
I saw her eyes glazed over a minute ago.
Yeah. No, it's been I've been
They've been glazed.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't feel like they did.
Yeah.
You're like sad Lauren now.
Yeah. When she came in, she was hype.
You're hyped
Over
I was excited about my treat.
Lauren.
I was excited about my treat.
And then now she's.
My treat's gone.
The treat is gone.
I'm very treat driven.
So here's what I want you to think about, right? And this sets us up for next week. Is you took the caffeine.
Yeah.
There was probably.
She's back.
Yeah. She took the caffeine, so that increased her heart rate. It was a blocker for some of those hormones that make you feel tired.
Uh-huh.
And then you also ate a chocolate chip cookie.
And a snack.
Which was no, you had a chocolate chip cookie.
It was a treat.
That's not a snack.
It's a
That would
treat.
be dessert or a treat. Okay.
A treat.
Full of
Sugar.
simple carbohydrates,
Yeah.
sugar. So what happened is you were on caffeine, you spiked the energy levels, right? Insulin. And then
Wah, wah.
not even within an hour, you crashed.
I don't think I've crashed. Have I crashed?
Visually,
From the looks of things, you've crashed.
you had this.
I feel like I was very focused on everything that was being said. I was just wasn't saying as much because I was listening to you.
Could you repeat the question again?
Okay, that one I did have to ask because I was listening so much to what everyone was saying. I forgot what the original question was.
The point I'm making is that it all affects everything, not just nutrition, not just training, but nutrition also can affect your your ability to stay engaged, your ability to stay awake or be tired or whatever, so it's very important for our training. So I'm not saying you can't have treats. I'm not saying, but it's immediate example.
Yes.
And that's why we're going to get into it.
Okay.
Right. I love sweets. I mean, dessert is my Achilles heel. So I just thought that was a perfect example to set us up.
I
for next week.
am a perfect example.
No, not you in general, that situation.
I just said there's been a drastic difference.
Remember the pendulum we talked about?
No.
That was it. So that was a drastic Lauren.
I think we have to use ourselves as examples because we're real people, right? We all struggle. We all do things right and wrong. And so when we can give that information to people, they can learn from it because they say, hey, you know what? I do that same thing. And I was wondering, I've always been like my athlete that I'm training, and he's like, I don't know why I'm tired. Maybe because you ate 6 donuts before you came up here, fool.
Well, that was the kind of reason she nicely offered us coffee.
She did.
And I really was, because I wasn't going to get one because I had coffee protein, and then I had that Tailwind, which has a little bit of caffeine. I don't think much, but I was like, that's too much. That'll put me over the edge.
Over the edge for the day.
That'll be the episode where Carlos didn't shut up. He was just blabbing insistently and crawling up his chair. So I decided to pass on that.
That would have been interesting to have the two of you just jumping and bumping.
We would have gotten nowhere in conversation probably. It'd have been all over the place.
Good episode.
So anyway, guys, that's what we did get into next week. So appreciate you guys coming in. If you have the ability to support the show, you can also go to our Patreon, patreon.com/running with James. You can also go to our website, mybcfit.com, check out our gear. You can support the show by getting some super sweet gear and looking good while you do it. So guys, thank you so much for all that you do. And remember, as always, when you change your mind,
change your life.
Oh, we were not in sync for that.
Try it again. Go.
You can change. You didn't even say it.
All right. Change your mind.
No, it's past.
Change your life.